Hello and welcome to Budo Cartoon. Today, I'll be taking you through one of the most iconic and creative animated series in the world of cartoons, Adventure Time. Set in the magical land of Ooo, this series follows the fantastical adventures of Finn and Jake, captivating both kids and adults alike with its whimsical charm. Together, we'll explore the show's fun characters, engaging storylines, deep themes, and unforgettable moments. Are you ready to dive into the magical world of Adventure Time? Let's get started. But before we jump in, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. Now, let's dive into Finn and Jake's adventures. Finn, the brave and pure hero of the land of Ooo. Finn is always standing up for what's right and protecting the innocent. As he embarks on countless adventures with his friends, Finn tries to discover what it means to be human. His adventurous spirit and desire to be a hero drive him to battle evil wherever it arises. Jake, Finn's best friend and adoptive brother. Jake is a magical dog with the ability to stretch and shapeshift. Though laid back in nature, he can transform into a courageous and powerful warrior when needed. He's a loyal companion to Finn, always by his side throughout their many adventures. Princess Bubblegum, the intelligent and capable ruler of the Candy Kingdom. Princess Bubblegum uses her vast knowledge of science and technology to protect and lead her kingdom. Finn and Jake frequently seek her help as a trusted ally. While she sometimes has to make tough decisions, her actions are always in the best interest of her people. Ice King, wielding the powers of ice and snow, Ice King is often lonely and seeks companionship by kidnapping princesses in hopes of finding a bride. Over time, his complex relationship with Finn and Jake evolves into something resembling friendship. Though he appears villainous, deep down, Ice King is a lonely soul yearning for love and acceptance. Lich, a primordial and malevolent entity, the Lich is bent on destroying the land of Ooo and ending all life. With deadly powers and a cunning mind, he poses a grave threat, often trapping his enemies in sinister schemes. He's one of Finn's greatest adversaries, always pursuing dark and destructive plans. Billy, one of Oo's greatest heroes, Billy once defeated the Lich and imprisoned him in amber. He's a major source of inspiration for Finn, serving as a mentor and guide to the young hero. Though Billy has since distanced himself from his warrior past, he continues to offer wisdom and guidance to Finn. Marceline, a 1,000-year-old vampire queen and a talented musician, Marceline is a close friend of Finn's. While she has a dark and quirky personality, she's deeply emotional and has a rich history. As one of the oldest beings in the land of Ooo, Marceline plays a significant role in many of the show's stories. BMO, Finn and Jake's lovable companion, BMO is both a video game console, a computer, and a robotic friend. With a cheerful, energetic, and positive personality, BMO helps Finn and Jake with technological tasks and even joins them on adventures. Often imagining itself as human, BMO adds a fun and whimsical touch to the story with its boundless creativity. The beginning of the universe. According to the Lich, before the universe existed, there was nothing, and before that, monsters ruled. Among these ancient beings were primordial entities like Orgolorg and Kokentepi. These dark forces stretched back into the deep past of the universe, with their existence tied to the very origins of everything. We travel back to the Cretaceous period, and this is where things begin. During this time, the ice elemental, Urgence Evergreen, is trying to stop a green catalyst comet that is hurtling toward Earth. But this is no ordinary comet, it's the Lich. The Lich seeks to destroy the planet and bring an end to all things. In a desperate attempt to prevent this catastrophe, Evergreen devises a final solution, the Ice Crown. He plans to use its power to stop the comet, but this is where things go awry. Whoever wears the crown gains the ability to cast ice magic and becomes a commander, like Evergreen. However, other elementals, Chatsberry, Balthus, and Slimy D, oppose this plan. It's too dangerous. The power of the crown is uncontrollable, they argue, but Evergreen is determined. He creates the crown and entrusts it to his most trusted being, Gunther. Yet, under the crown's influence, Gunther transforms into someone who endlessly casts ice magic and issues commands, just like Evergreen. And yes, the feared event happens. The comet crashes into Earth. Evergreen's efforts aren't enough, and the planet suffers massive destruction. This isn't just the event that wipes out the dinosaurs, it also marks the arrival of one of the universe's greatest evils, the Lich, on Earth. Epic? Absolutely. Pre-Mushroom War and during the Mushroom War. As human civilization ruled the Earth, we enter a period where everything was about to change forever. Roughly 1/500 years ago, Santa and Svein, two early victims of the Ice Crown, fell under its influence. Just like what would later happen to Ice King, the crown twisted their minds. As we know, the Ice Crown drives people mad and turns them into beings who can wield ice magic, but at a great cost to their sanity. Simon Petrikov, who later becomes the Ice King, was born about 44 years before the Mushroom War. Before the war, Simon meets Betty, and together they discover the Enchiridion, a powerful book that holds the ability to open portals between dimensions in the multiverse. Around 1 to 2 years before the Mushroom War, Simon buys the Ice Crown from an old dock worker and starts using it, but things take a terrifying turn. The crown slowly causes Simon to lose his mind and personality, pushing him to become more frightening, even to the point of driving away his fiancée Betty. These events mark the beginning of Simon's transformation into the Ice King. 4 years before the Mushroom War, Marceline is born. She is the daughter of Hunson Abadir, ruler of the Nightosphere and a human mother. Marceline lives with her mother in a caravan, but her father is absent during this time. Before the war, the Elementals, who could foresee the upcoming conflict, prepared for survival. The Ice Elemental, Patient St. Pym, froze herself to ensure she would survive the coming destruction. Year 0, the Mushroom War begins. The catastrophic event that reshapes the world, the Mushroom Bomb, detonates, wiping out the majority of the human population on Earth. The explosion causes widespread mutations among surviving creatures and leads to severe climate changes. It is during this chaos that the Lich emerges, setting out on his mission to destroy all life in the universe. At the same time, a blue catalyst comet, Finn, crashes into Earth, creating a massive crater that becomes a pivotal point in the story. These events mark the beginning of the Adventure Time universe, with the Mushroom War and the resulting chaos laying the groundwork for everything that happens in the land of Ooo. 5 years after the Mushroom War, during this post-apocalyptic period, Simon Petrikov, before he fully becomes the Ice King, finds and adopts Marceline, taking care of her in this shattered world. However, as Simon gradually loses his sanity due to the effects of the Ice Crown, he is eventually forced to abandon Marceline, breaking her heart in the process. Soon, Marceline becomes a skilled vampire hunter and eventually tracks down Fool, a member of the powerful vampire court. She manages to drive a wooden stake through his heart, destroying him in a bright cloud of smoke. Realizing this smoke is Fool's soul, she discovers she can absorb it using her soul-sucking powers. By absorbing Fool's soul, Marceline gains the ability to fly, the first of many supernatural abilities she will inherit from hunting the vampire court. One day, while trying to catch food, Marceline accidentally captures a young human girl wearing a rabbit hat. The girl runs away, and Marceline follows her, leading her to a group of survivors who wear animal hats to protect their necks from vampire bites. The group is led by a man named Two Bread Tom, and the rabbit girl's name is Joe. At first, the tribe is terrified of Marceline because of her sharp demon teeth and flying ability, but they eventually come to trust her. Marceline finally feels like she's found a place where she belongs. Despite their initial fear, Marceline and Joe become good friends. Two Bread Tom tells Marceline that even if she manages to kill all the vampires, they still won't be able to stay on the mainland because the atmosphere is changing and a nuclear winter is approaching. Their plan is to restore a pre-war cargo ship and set sail in search of a new home. The fifth and final member of the court is the Vampire King, the last of his kind after his servants were destroyed and the rest of the court was killed. Marceline and the Vampire King face off on the deck of the human ship, and after a fierce battle, Marceline successfully drives her stake into his chest. Accepting his defeat, the king sees only one way to save his race. As Marceline drives the stake deeper into his heart, the king bites her neck. In the end, the king dies, but not before successfully turning Marceline into a vampire. Marceline takes on the title of Vampire Queen Marceline, and for reasons unknown, decides to stay on the mainland while the humans, including her friend Joe, sail away in search of a new home. 200 years after the Mushroom War, Princess Bubblegum and her brother Nettie are born from the mother Gum. As Princess Bubblegum grows, she begins to feel lonely and creates Uncle Gumbald, Aunt Lolly, and Cousin Chikla with the goal of building a new kingdom. However, Gumbald becomes envious of Bubblegum's success and concocts a potion to turn her into a more simple and obedient being so he can rule the kingdom himself. Unfortunately for Gumbald, the potion backfires and turns him into a mindless candy person instead. 700 years after the Mushroom War. During this period, a skilled thief named Shoko is hired by Princess Bubblegum for a mission, but Shoko betrays her and tries to steal Princess Bubblegum's powerful amulet. Shoko is a talented warrior and thief, but her plan goes horribly wrong. While attempting to steal the amulet, she suffers a severe injury and falls into a river near the Candy Kingdom. Sadly, Shoko dies on the riverbank and her body decays and is forgotten over the years. Shoko's remains eventually merge with the ground, becoming part of what will later grow into the Tree Fort, where Finn and Jake will one day live. Shoko's spirit remains trapped within the Tree Fort, unable to find peace for many years. In the future, Finn will begin to have dreams of Shoko's memories, and through this connection, he will uncover her tragic story. This event deepens Finn's connection to the past and reveals the origins of the Tree Fort. It becomes a significant symbol in the land of Ooo, representing both Shoko's forgotten tale and the deep history of the world. In year 800, Magic Man's wife Margles is abducted by Golb, an immensely powerful and chaotic being. This event profoundly impacts Magic Man, transforming him from a once kind and loving individual into the cruel, chaotic figure he becomes. His overwhelming grief and madness lead to his exile from Mars to Earth, where he continues to wreak havoc, forever scarred by the loss of Margles. In year 970, we now turn our attention to one of Oo's greatest heroes, Billy. Known as the legendary hero of the land of Ooo, Billy becomes an idol for many adventurers, including Finn. His weapon of choice, the sword known as Knothung, solidifies his reputation as a fearless warrior. Billy resides in a cave known as Billy's Crack and is often accompanied by a magical dog, further enhancing his mystique. Billy's exploits inspired generations of adventurers, making him a beloved and respected figure across the land. Billy's most legendary battle is, without a doubt, his confrontation with the Lich. In the shadow of Nettie's tree, the Lich is encased in amber, trapped but not destroyed. The Lich remains alive, still filled with a desire for annihilation. Princess Bubblegum dedicates years to protecting the tree, ensuring that the Lich never breaks free. Billy's victory over the Lich cements him as one of the greatest heroes in history. However, after this monumental victory, something curious happens. Billy gives up his heroism for reasons unknown. He isolates himself from the world and becomes a recluse, choosing to live a passive, peaceful life. In year 984, Jake is born under rather unusual circumstances. Jake's parents, Joshua and Margaret, both seasoned adventurers and detectives, come across a real monster while working on a case. Despite Joshua's protests, Margaret follows the trail and discovers that the monster is none other than Warren Ampersand, a shape-shifting alien from Nera. During the encounter, Warren bites Joshua's head and escapes through a portal to his world. Unbeknownst to Joshua and Margaret, Warren has impregnated Joshua with his offspring through the bite. Shortly after, Joshua gives birth to a child from the wound on his head. Moments later, Margaret gives birth to their own biological child through more traditional means, and they name him Jermaine. They decide to raise the shapeshifter's child as their own, naming him Jake. In the same year, Dr. Minerva Campbell, a renowned healer, is tasked with treating a man named Martin Mertens, who has sustained injuries. Despite the circumstances, the two unexpectedly fall in love. After Minerva helps Martin avoid being re-educated, they begin dating and eventually move in together. Minerva continues to be one of the most respected healers on the islands, while Martin gives up his less savory profession and becomes a barber. Eventually, Minerva and Martin have a child together, whom they name Finn Mertens. Finn is registered in the island's database as Baby PG-87. Unbeknownst to them, Finn is the reincarnation of Shoko, who herself was a reincarnation of the Blue Catalyst Comet's Agent of Change. However, Finn will not discover this truth for many years to come. After helping Martin evade re-education, a group led by Widow breaks into Martin's home seeking revenge. In an attempt to flee, Martin and baby Finn hide on a raft. However, the Guardian mistakenly believes they are trying to escape the islands. During the ensuing battle, Martin manages to blind one of the Guardian's eyes before being thrown into the ocean. Separated from Finn, Martin unintentionally leaves the islands behind, as does Finn. Meanwhile, Joshua and Margaret, Jake's parents, find baby Finn in the forest, clinging to a leaf beside his own filth. In 997, we reach a pivotal moment in the land of Ooo, marking the beginning of the Adventure Time series. Finn and Jake are two brave friends who run from adventure to adventure across Ooo. Wherever there's a need for help, they're there, fighting evil, making new friends, and helping everyone in need. They're known as Oo's most loyal heroes. At this time, Princess Bubblegum rules over the Candy Kingdom, always doing everything she can to protect her people. She's constantly on guard, with the help of Finn, Jake, Lady Rainicorn, and her other friends defending her kingdom. Meanwhile, Ice King continues his relentless, though always unsuccessful, attempts to kidnap princesses, with Finn and Jake thwarting him at every turn. When they visit Mount Cragdor, Finn and Jake get their hands on the Enchiridion, a magical book that holds the deepest secrets of the land of Ooo. Their encounter with Susan Strong leads them to explore Oo's different origins, but it also results in the accidental release of the Lich from his amber prison, creating a massive threat. While the Lich seems to be defeated, he survives by taking control of the snail. In 998, Finn and Jake meet the fiery spirit of Ooo, Flame Princess, who soon becomes Finn's girlfriend. Their adventurous romance plays a huge role in this stage of the series, though it faces difficult challenges down the road. The most dramatic event of the year, Lich leaves the snail and possesses Billy, ultimately killing him. Lich uses Finn's trust in Billy to trick him into opening a portal with the Enchiridion, allowing the Lich to make a wish to destroy the multiverse. Fortunately, Finn and Jake stop him, and in the process, they meet Prisma, with Finn's wish creating the Farm World timeline. In 999, early in the year, Finn acquires a brand new power, the Grass Sword, which becomes a crucial part of his future adventures. One of the most shocking events is the temporary lifting of Ice King's curse. He reverts to his former self, Simon Petrikov, and opens a time portal to bring his former fiancée Betty into the present. However, without the crown, Simon begins to rapidly age and must transform back into the Ice King. Betty, devastated by Simon's fate, vows to find a cure to restore him. The Lich is mostly destroyed during the battle at the Citadel, and is transformed into a giant baby named Sweet Pea, who is later adopted by Tree Trunks and Mr. Pig. This adoption stops Mr. Pig from considering a brief separation. However, Finn's journey doesn't end here. As Martin attempts to escape, the Grass Sword takes control of Finn's right arm to stop him, resulting in Finn losing his arm. Though this is a huge loss for Finn, Breezy helps regenerate Finn's arm, but it turns out the new arm is made from grass due to the sword's influence. Finn also gains the Finn Sword, which contains his original soul. Technically, this sword is Finn from a few minutes earlier, meaning the Finn we follow is the future version of himself. Lastly, Magic Man makes a critical error, losing both his magical powers and his sanity to Betty, who now possesses Magic Man's abilities. In 1000, first, the Candy Kingdom holds its first ever election, and Princess Bubblegum loses control of the kingdom. The King of Ooo wins the election, becoming the new ruler of the Candy Kingdom. Bubblegum retreats to the countryside, where she begins farming pumpkins, but her story is far from over. Meanwhile, Gunter reveals his true nature as Orgalorg and attempts to seize power by swallowing the Catalyst Comet. However, his plan is thwarted and Orgalorg is defeated. Elsewhere, Prismo sends Finn and Jake to the Farm World timeline, where they must stop Ice Finn and the Farm World Lich from using their Enchiridion to create a multiverse portal. After curing their counterparts, Finn and Jake retrieve the Enchiridion. Another significant event is Patient St. Pim's awakening from her 1,000-year slumber. Having frozen herself to survive the Mushroom War, she becomes obsessed with unlocking her full magical potential and that of the other elementals. In a dramatic turn, Finn's sword and Grass Sword merge to create a new being, Fern, a complex version of Finn. This transformation results in Finn losing his arm once again. Finn, Jake, and Susan Strong also leave Ooo and travel to the islands, where they discover the true fate of humanity. The mysteries of the human race are finally revealed. Upon returning to Ooo, they find that Patient St. Pim has activated a mega elemental spell, turning the entire realm into elemental chaos. Fortunately, Lumpy Space Princess's anti-elemental powers restore everything to its original state. At the same time, Betty kidnaps Ice King and uses the Farm World Enchiridion to try and alter the timeline, hoping to prevent Simon from ever wearing the Ice Crown. However, Ice King interferes, and Betty is transported to Mars. This year has been a whirlwind of adventure for Finn, Jake, and all of Ooo, making it one of the most chaotic and transformative years yet. In the year 1001, at the start of the year, Farm World Jake's hand, taken over by the Lich, tries to deceive Sweet Pea, offering to rule together. However, Sweet Pea gathers his strength, destroys the hand, and eliminates yet another great threat. Meanwhile, Gumball establishes a powerful city-state called Gumbaldia, sparking a war with the Candy Kingdom, the Gum War. Finn and Jake try to stop the war by giving Princess Bubblegum, Gumball, and Fern Nightmare Juice. In the dream, Finn and Fern face the Grass Demon and defeat him. However, Fern struggles to find his identity without the Grass Demon. When they return to the real world, Princess Bubblegum wants to forgive Gumball and end the war. However, Gumball doesn't accept this forgiveness and tries to trick her with Dum Dum Juice. Thankfully, Lolly stops him and Gumball falls into his own trap, turning into a punch bowl. Lolly makes peace with Princess Bubblegum and they decide to rule the kingdom together. Meanwhile, Betty and King Man try to use Maya to bring back their loved ones, but they accidentally summon Gulb to Ooo. Finn, Betty, and Ice King are swallowed by Gulb. Inside, Ice King turns back into Simon Petrikov, and Betty loses her magical powers. The Fiona world inside Ice King's head loses its magic and turns into a normal world. Additionally, the Ice Crown returns to its original state and grants whoever wears it their deepest and truest wish. Although Betty wants to wish for Gulb to leave the world, her deepest desire is to protect Simon. As a result, Betty and Gulb merge into one entity. During all this, Finn and Jake's treehouse is destroyed by one of Gulb's monsters. Golbetty leaves Ooo, leaving the Ice Crown behind. Gunter wears the crown, and his greatest desire, to become Ice King, comes true. Gunter transforms into Ice Thing. Fern disappears during this process, leaving behind only a Finn sword-shaped sprout. Finn and Jake plant this sprout in the remnants of the treehouse, and the sprout grows rapidly, forming a new tree and a new Finn sword. Lastly, the humans who have been absent for 1,000 years return to the land of Ooo and establish a flying city called Upton. We then see that Jake dies for some reason, and Finn continues living alone for decades. Eventually, Finn also passes away and reunites with Jake in the dead world. Death's son kills his father and becomes the new Death, causing trouble for Finn and Jake. However, we later learn that the Lich's hand from multiple universes was behind these events. Finn and Jake destroy the Lich countless times and finally reach a happy ending. They are reborn, and 1,000 years after the war, in the year 2000, we learn that Sherman and Betty are the reincarnations of Finn and Jake. After so many years, the Candy Kingdom has been completely destroyed, and Sweet Pea has transformed into a giant. We also see that Finn's statue is in ruins. In the end, Bet and Sherman will continue this adventure forever. I've done my best to share the story of Adventure Time with you all. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like to support me. Also, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments and drop your suggestions for future videos. See you in the next adventure, and take care.